Good morning and welcome. I'm Bob Pace, your host, and here I am to fight CPS and get your children back. I want to give a warm welcome because I know how hard this is for you to deal with this very terrible, terrible thing where they have taken your children, they have trafficked your children and put them into foster care. I don't know how many times I've talked to over 500 people from across the country and around the world too that CPS has been bad to them. They've been bad to me. I've been fighting for 14 years. Three of them they fought to get my children back. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's the hardest thing that I've faced in my life. I don't know. Um, but anyway, I do want to welcome you all, and hopefully, I can share with you some of the things that were okay with how it worked with me and stuff. So, hello, Tammy Winkles. Um, Welcome. And I think I should need to go over our housekeeping rules. And the first one is how do you interact with this podcast? This is a live podcast from Southern California, and there are three ways or several ways you can interact with this podcast. One of the first and easiest way is typing in a comment about your CPS questions. This is about CPS, Child Protection System, which is supposed to be protecting your children from neglect and abuse and bring the family back together and family reunification. One of the easiest way to communicate with me is to type a comment uh, about your CPS question. All I ask is you show your name, city, state, or country and be complete with your CPS case. That's right, I said country because everywhere CPS is being experienced. And I hate to say it's mostly sad news. You know, it's an agency that just has gone rogue. There's no morals to it or anything like that. So please text in a comment. Um, Tammy, I don't know where you're from, but if you could tell me, that'd be great. And if you have a comment or a question, you can uh, um, a second way of interacting with this podcast is to call in my office number, which is 626-698-0990. And it's very important when you call in that uh, I'll answer the call, put you on speaker, but it's very important that you have the show not too loud so it doesn't echo because I'm using you on speakerphone and I want the people to hear your questions and concerns and comments and hear me answer you and so forth. So I hold the phone close to the microphone and so they can hear you. But all you need to do is call 626-698-0990, and I just would love so much to talk to you. It's one of the easiest ways to handle your case, and we get a lot done. Um, I can only talk to one person at a time, so if you happen to call in and someone else is on there, you have to wait or go for another show. Now, another way besides calling in and so forth is that you may want to be a guest on my show, and I'd love to have you as a guest. And you'll be live. You don't have to be, but you'll be live. But to be a guest on my show, all you have to do is schedule um, as our guest by emailing our show producer. That's Grace at VincentWDavis.com. Grace is a very great producer, and she helps me a lot, and I want to thank her for all she does. but please email at grace@vincentwdavis.com. All you need to do is tell her which show. Now, I have 14 shows, morning and evening, 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. So you need to tell her I want Tuesday morning show or I want Wednesday afternoon evening show, so forth. My times are typically from 10 a.m. in the morning Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour and 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in the evening for 1 hour. Those are my typical times. There are times I change the show time. Um, Saturday, I'm going to have to come on earlier because my son is graduating from high school. And so Saturday morning, I'm going to try to come on as early as I can. Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock regularly. That's the only exception. But this Saturday, I'm going to have to come on earlier. Now, I have a co-host that's usually on the show right now, but I don't know where she is. She said that she'd be here. Make sure that anyway, I just text her and hopefully she'll be joining us. So, Tammy, is there something I could do to help you? I don't know what your CPS questions. Are you just listening, or you don't want to talk, and that is fine. If you don't want to talk, that is fine. Also, at this time, I want to thank Vincent W. Davis. He is the attorney, a dependency law attorney. He's one that's producing this podcast. I want to many thanks to him to allow us to have this forum to talk to help other people. And he can be reached at 888-888-6582. Now you're probably wondering, oh good, we got Danielle there. Great. Good morning, Danielle.
Morning. Morning.
Sorry to get you on, but anyway, I'm glad you're here. I was just talking about our housekeeping. I've already told them how to interact with the podcast. And I was just telling thanks to Vincent Davis for helping produce this podcast. And I really haven't gotten into the rooms yet or any other things. We have one guest in the show, Tammy, who I don't know where she's from, but she said hello, so it was nice to have her.
Tammy. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Tammy.
Tammy, this is Danielle. She's also a victim of she's also a victim of CPS. We both are. Her case is different, but it still involves the same agency.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to know what CPS is, the Child Protection System, it's a branch of social services enacted by government to protect our children from neglect and abuse and do family reunification.
Mm-hmm.
It seems they are doing more neglect by taking our children because almost 99% of the cases, the children are in extreme danger and they must be trafficking into the system to foster care. It's a money-making business. Also, the attitude of social workers is so corrupt and so bad. What you see over Daniel's shoulders is 8 social workers from Phoenix, Arizona. Collectively, they had over 25 years of experience. And it pretty much was the whole workforce. There was a guy, I think, part of the workforce but they
Mhm.
decided to take upon themselves to create T-shirts, pink T-shirts, and on the front they have professional child kidnappers. On the back they have, do you know where your children are at? Do you know where your children at? Or do you know where your children are? I should
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. Top
which is
parts cut off.
supposed to imply that they go around and take children needlessly. They are out constantly looking for children. That should
Like
not be how
window
the
washer.
system works. They're supposed to be assisting families that are struggling. A lot of us are
Mhm.
homeless. A lot of us are low income. A lot of us have lost jobs. A lot of us have lost loved ones. We have many,
Mhm.
many tragedies. You know, it's
Mhm.
really, until you walk in somebody's moccasins, you will not know what their life has
Right.
gone through.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's an old Indian saying, but if you
Mhm.
really you need to walk in someone's moccasins to know what they've gone through. And I'm
Yep.
here because I care. I'm a loving father. I am
Mhm.
have 6 children, and 3 of them were taken or stolen or trafficking from me and my wife in 2015. And it was a terrible day that they came and used the deception tactics to get my children. And they weren't in danger. They were never in danger. That's the sad. Until you know the system and how it works, you won't know. You won't know. You
Right.
won't know.
Right.
But anyway, these social workers went around and paraded and showed off what they felt about parents. Anyway, they got caught. They were fired, and so was their director. But that didn't leave the stigma that social workers are really awful. I've only had one social worker talk to me on this podcast and over 500. She's from Maryland, very nice person, took her time to talk, but she painted a different picture. I wish there was a
Mhm.
different picture. I wish the Child Protection Agency was an agency where they would help and assist families in need. In
Mhm.
need. That's what social is supposed to do. They're supposed to provide you food stamps if you're qualified, provide you medical
Right.
care. You know,
Lead you in the right direction. Get you back up on your feet
yes,
where you're
that's what
struggling,
social
where you're
service is
weak at.
supposed to be. Right now, they're so inundated by the open borders that they're spending
Mhm.
all their resources on all the people from other countries. We can't feed everybody. And I'm afraid that
It's
we're going to go through another 4 more years of terribleness. I just don't see
mhm.
anything on the wall right now. I don't see a future. And it's sad to say
Mhm.
that because there's so much corruptness right now. So much corruptness. Such
Mhm.
evil, evil people out there.
It's
Anyway, I'm here and Danielle's here to help
mhm.
answer your questions,
Right.
to make your time better, to make you feel better. And one of the first things I want to talk about is our rules. You know,
Mhm.
and one of the rules I want to talk about is rule number 3, and that is a hard one because there's a young man on May 3rd that was innocently shot and killed by answering the door.
Is he on my background?
I'm sorry.
Is he up, Bob, on my background?
Yes, that is the
Okay.
man there. He's 24-year-old Air Force airman or 23-year-old airman.
Mhm.
And all he was doing on that eventful day on the 3rd of May was talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime. He was alone in his apartment. But someone at the complex called 911 and said they heard a disturbance. And that looks like someone was being beat upon, or was. So, with
Domestic.
that being said, police was dispatched. They sent out a sheriff from the Gainesville Police Department.
Mhm.
And what's so sad about this is this same lady that called met them at the complex, and she wasn't sure if that was the right apartment or not. She said the incident of screaming, yelling was several weeks ago, but she
Wow.
couldn't remember it. So what's happened is that I think she just misled the sheriff to the wrong place in the wrong time. And the way the sheriff, you know, got into
Handles
the
it.
home was wrong. I mean, I don't know where his police school or sheriff's school went, all the procedures, but he did everything wrong.
Right.
He didn't search the area or listen in to see if there was a commotion going on, to wish there was, something on. He could have very easily listened to the door or find a window or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, he knocks on the door and says nothing. And it was a hard knock. And the gentleman inside had a gun. He's registered to have a gun. So he grabbed his gun in the back part of the house and came to the front door because he wasn't sure who was there.
He had to look out for his safety at the end of the day,
And the thing was, he should never have gotten the gun. He should have gone and hid in the back part of the house
Mm-hmm.
until they left. But instead, he went to investigate. So that is the rule I'm telling you about. Don't answer your door to anyone, including CPS and policemen.
Right.
You have your
Right.
privacy. You have a phone number. You have a email. You have an address. They know how to reach you. But what's on the other side of the door is risky.
Mm-hmm.
There was an armed policeman or a sheriff who was doing everything wrong about trying to find out if there's some harm inside.
Domestic dispute or something.
Yeah, he did. He did
Didn't
hit the
identify
door.
himself.
I'm sorry. What, Daniel?
Did he he didn't identify himself the right way
Not the first time. The second time he said, "This is the sheriff. Open the door." And he could have said, this is the sheriff. I hear there's a commotion going on. I need to talk to you about it or come in and see the site there." But he didn't say that. What happens, the gentleman on the second knock, or I think it was a 3-knock thing, opened the door, and right away the sheriff, who was only 2 feet away from the guy, shot him 5 times. Now, why did they learn in how to fire firearms that you fire 5 times at the heart?
Right.
That's going to kill somebody. They could have sent him in the arm, the leg, the foot, the shoulder,
it's like
the
he's
hand.
automatically going in to kill, going into. That's the mindset he had. I mean, that's not how they taught. I mean, no. You got to find out what the problem is first.
And that guy was, it was hard for him because, he did something too. He answered the door. He shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't have.
And his girlfriend.
What should have happened, the guy should have hid out in the bedroom and be quiet after the sheriff left.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could have, if the sheriff was there, the sheriff could have said, "If there's anyone inside, I want you to lay down. First, unlock the door, lay down, face down, with your hands behind your head. If you have a weapon, put it off to the side."
Right.
And then he should, instead of the sheriff in front of the door, should stand at the side of the door from the beginning, because he can be shot just as easy as he shot the black man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the door was unlocked and the sheriff rushed in and point blank. And it's sad.
It's very
because
sad.
the guy was talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime. So you had that recording and you had what they were saying there. So this is the kind of police and CPS workers you have out there. They don't care. They don't need to be in your home. They're going to ruffle through your home and your underwear drawer and everything else trying to find something. And it's just totally wrong. They need a court order, first of all, to be in your home.
Right.
If you give them permission, then they'll be in your home. And then you got to suffer the consequences.
Yep.
You don't want to talk to a social worker. So many of you here on the show says still talk to them. You don't understand. They're not your friend.
Nope.
It's simple yes, no answers. And tell them you have an attorney and you need to talk to them before you go any further.
They are not there for you. They are there to work against you and to make your life miserable.
Yes.
Like that. It's supposed to be a positive. I mean, everything that I read about their job descriptions and their policies and procedures, it's supposed to be on a more positive, like making the changes and get strengthening your life and strengthening your family and getting to getting back to being the family like a successful family in society, you know, and it's definitely not that. And no, it's gonna cause you to have more mental health problems, like even more psychological problems, and it can affect your physical well-being, your emotional, all of it. And it's just, I mean, it's crazy that they're
Yeah.
the opposite of what that their policies and procedures describe.
Well, they don't know if it was a wrong number. I mean, wrong apartment.
Oh yeah.
That's left up in the air. Also, they haven't identified the sheriff or his racial backgrounds. We just don't know why a guy. And again, it looks like Gainesville has a lot of criminal shootings, and they keep it
Yeah.
kind of quiet. I've
Yeah.
encountered 9 or 10 since
Wow.
that time, and they just are heavy there. So it sounds like,
This guy dying, since him dying, there's been 9 or 10 since then.
yes,
Wow.
if you type in black man
Uh-huh.
shot in Gainesville, Florida,
Mm.
um, you'll come up with a whole list of people.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot in
Yeah,
that
it
little
just
bit of
tells you
time.
what Gainesville. I mean, I didn't know much about Gainesville, but if
Yeah.
someone want to go visit there
It's
with a
it is.
with a corrupt police department and all those
Yep.
shootings and stabbings taking place.
It's rough in Gainesville. I've rode through there. It's
Oh,
rough.
okay.
Yeah, it's rough. Gainesville, Florida. Yeah, and there is a Gainesville, Georgia, which is more country, but Gainesville, Florida is rough. Gainesville, Georgia is I don't know. Gainesville, Georgia, there ain't it's all woods out there, but Gainesville, Florida, yeah, it's rough. I've rode, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the county that I live in Georgia, like where I live, Bartow, right here. It's like a poverty, like a low. It's a very the poverty level there, like it's a low income county. You know what I mean? Like it's a the crime rate's high, and the 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 need for help out there, and everybody, most people there are low income, like in this county I live in.
Anyway, I don't mean to be discouraging, but the rule is never answer the door
Right.
because you don't know what will happen. Um, you do not have to allow CPS in your home or the police in your home to do a search in your home or to take your children away. They need a court order. It's
Right.
something called a warrant. It's a legal document that's signed by a judge. It has a boss stamp on it, and then it gives specific things that the warrant is about. One, it'll give the name of the individual that you're investigating. It gives the names of the children. It gives the allegations. It tells them what they can do when they come to visit, and it gives the address and the time and date when you can visit. All this is spelled out in the warrant, so there's no confusion. So, that being said, when you hear the knock on the door, don't answer it. Don't answer it. Um, but anyway, um, this also goes true for them coming to your home to take your children. They need a court warrant.
Right.
They need that. They can't take your children. Don't let them. You need to ask them, well, you shouldn't let them in your home, but if you're outside or something, what danger are my children in? What extreme danger are they in?
Mm-hmm.
But try to say no and yes answers and don't talk it out. Just tell them that, hey, I need to talk to my attorney before we go any further. You may not have one, but you're going to get one.
Mm-hmm.
And you need that. You need that because you're in a very hard spot. And I know people are having today's cases today. Someone said they had a court date or something today, or
Yeah,
something.
there was a good bit of people today that had
Yeah,
and it's Friday and going into the weekend too. That's not cool.
well, yesterday, well, I don't want to say comments because I'm trying to stay away from politics, but it's just our
Government.
the whole government is all really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another part of that third rule as I talk about is medical trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people don't understand what medical trafficking is. It's where they take your child while you're in the hospital because you brought your child in late at night in emergency, or you're having a child and you're birthing a child. Those are the two scenarios that they take children. It's called medical trafficking. Um, if you talk to your doctor and you're at the hospital and he says, okay, we think your problem with your child's this or that, you don't need to fix it there in the hospital. If it's life threatening, yes. But it's not life threatening. You can go see a pediatrician. You want to go to your own doctor. That's where the CPS caseworkers step in. They think you're trying to ignore taking care of your children. So they immediately take the child, and it's wrong. And the sad part is that they do it with a smirk on the face. Think of those pink ladies.
Uh-huh.
They take that child, and they don't have a guilty or a terrible feeling about doing what they're doing. And it's only because you trust the government like I trust the government. And so that was my mistake too, was trusting the government. Anyway, that is hard. That is hard.
That's my I guess my phone number is not because my phone number was supposed to go out today. I think if today's May 31st, yeah, and I'm gonna have to get a new phone provider because I don't
Okay.
think so. My phone must not be working because that's what Grace just asked me if my number was still the same, and I bet you my number's gone out. So that means I
Mean
waited
that
till
that first number that I got you on, not your second number?
the 470 number is the one probably not working, but the other number is. Yeah, the other number, the 404 is working, but the 470 is not working apparently. Yeah, because if today's the 31st, yeah, and that's probably why my brother is asking me, wondering what's up with his phone. So yeah, I didn't mean to wait till today, but I'll have to go get us phone service.
It's the 330 number, right?
That's the one that's working. Yes, that
Yeah.
one works. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Great.
yeah. The other one, I'm probably gonna end up, yeah, earlier, but let me. Okay.
Okay, it's a little slow this morning. Wake up, room. Come on. Do you want me to do somersaults? Do you want me to show you more pictures? Come on, Tammy. Ask a question. I won't bite. Daniel won't bite.
Right.
Where's all regular listeners? I know you're out there.
It's Friday. They I don't know. It's like there's usually people in. Let me.
It goes in spurts. It goes in spurts.
Yeah, and I know like last night after we got the podcast, I know some of them they were up late because I know I was in a couple of the groups last night on Facebook and chatting and lost track of time and ended up it got to be like 3 o'clock in the morning and whoops, got to get some rest because I mean I'm trying not to turn into a night owl. I can't do it. Like I can't do the night owl because that's I know I won't get nothing done.
Well, anyway, going back to medical trafficking, don't let them try to buffalo you. The CPS workers are working as case managers at the hospital, and they will try to take your children. And don't talk to them. In fact, if you're pregnant and having a child in the birth room, don't let them in. There's horror stories, where they come in and take your child right after birth. That's wrong. That's wrong. The policeman or the social worker can wait out in the lobby. There's no need for them to be in your birthing room. So be very careful of medical trafficking by CPS. They're notorious to do that. And they love to use policemen as a backdrop. Policemen are intimidators for social services, intimidators for the child system.
Right. Let's see. Let me share the.
But I can go on now to rule number 1, which is key to your success. Is get an attorney. You hate me saying those words, how to get an attorney. But you don't understand. Without an attorney, you'll never be able to fight your case. CPS is so corrupt. I keep saying, people, it's like you're playing Alice in Wonderland. You fell in the rabbit hole, and now you're going through a bunch of doors that go nowhere. Now you talk to a bunch of people that don't make sense off of your head. It's a scenario that Alice in Wonderland had, and that's what CPS is. They are a giant spider spinning a web around you and bringing you in. They'll suck you in and they'll suck you dry.
Yep.
Don't not trust a social worker. Only say yes, no answers, short answers to them. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But I'm telling you right now that you need an attorney, because dealing with CPS is like open heart surgery. Let's say something wrong with your heart. Your valve needs replacing. Well, are you going to let a layperson work on you? Are you going to cut your chest open? Are you going to get a plumber to do it, or an auto mechanic? No. You're going to get a professional doctor to do your heart surgery. Well, that's what CPS is like. It's the same scenario. They're very corrupt. They're not transparent. They steal. They lie. I can go on and on. I hate to badmouth them, but I've yet to meet except one social worker that came on here that was really nice. But I'd love to have other social workers out there. Tell me it's different in your state. Tell me it's different. Mm-hmm. Tell me that there's hope for these families.
Mm-hmm.
Tam, you've been on for about 30 minutes. And you haven't said anything, so I assume that you're just listening in, which is fine. I don't mean by pushing you. I'm just trying to get someone else to talk besides me.
She must have. She come through on Facebook, so I'm wondering if they probably scroll through and see it and post something. And she says, "Hey," but you figured they'd be watching it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Today, it's been a slow day. It's weird, for a Friday. Usually Fridays are a lot more interaction.
Right.
Everybody's excited it's Friday. Is it a holiday weekend that I'm missing out?
No. My son's graduating. My son's graduating.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Is he excited?
I guess so. I hadn't sunken into him. I guess tomorrow it will be, but
oh yeah, I remember it. It didn't hit me until like a week later, and boy, real life really set in. And my mom was like, "You have," I got in trouble, and mom said, "You got to go," and they put I had to be taught a lesson, and I did.
Right.
And it taught me a lesson. All right. Oh yeah, it taught me how to be an adult real quick. And next time I would clean my room. I'll never forget. I miss my mom. She was a mess. Yeah, she would. We would learn. We would have a lesson learned with her. Like if it was something that was going to be like more of a lesson, like a life lesson that would teach us something, and it would carry on with us as we get older. My mom was the one to teach it, and that woman, I gained so much knowledge from. She was the go-to person of the family. Like everybody went to her about everything, the vehicles, the compute technology, anything.
Yeah.
My mom was the tech guru, and she knew how to work on cars. Well, I mean, everything I've learned from my mother. So I'm that I'm the go-to person now, and I'm like, oh, mom. It's hard not having your, grant. They don't. A lot of people, and like the government and stuff, kinship. These grandparents and these relatives, the extended family, they got their answer right in front of them for placements, for help, for there's so many relatives that would help these families keep the kids out of the system. That why don't the government utilize this? Why don't they get the kinship care? Let's provide the services that needed in those areas to get these kids with family, to keep them with family, get them out of the foster system, get them out of these facilities. Like, keep families together. Don't and that's keeping a community together as well. Like, when you keep families together, it's keeping communities together too. And there's that, that's maintaining that positive, nurturing support and that circle with the people, with their extended family, their friends and community members, their churches, whatever the case may be, instead of doing what they're doing now. Over time, there has been no accountability. No supervision of the system. You know what I'm saying, Bob? And like, now that's to the point where they're gonna have to totally redo, reform it and micromanage at the same time. Like, because they have created their own policies and procedures in certain areas. Like, this state could be doing it, or even in Georgia, this county's doing it this way and this county's doing it another way. And they have made their own case load. Like, they make their own rules, and it's crazy. What happened? Like, what? And what it is they were not being supervised correctly, and they weren't the ones that should have been doing their job. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians is what I was always told. Like, growing up. Yeah, that's what they always said. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. But it's not really, like, you know what I mean, though. That's a But yeah, too many people trying to be the boss and call the shots. But then again, you gotta, like, it's kind of like in a fast food restaurant. You got the manager, and then you got the team players that are to get the food out to these customers and make the production happen in the store. You got to have a person to manage that, to delegate the jobs to them and do that. Well, in CPS, they should have that, but they don't. Like, they should have, like, a social service caseworker should have a supervisor, and it's ridiculous. It's crazy. And then a majority of them ain't licensed either. So, there's the licensed clinical social worker and then the licensed master's social worker. And if they don't have that L in front of it, they ain't licensed. I did learn that. And there's a difference between the licensed master and the licensed clinical. So, do you know about this? I don't know. Do they require the same thing out there with you, Bob, for the caseworkers to have that licensed clinical social, the license, the LMSW or the LCSW license?
Well, I hate to say it, the Orange County CPS may have them, but they weren't in my case.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, because that's what my case. There's a caseworker. One of them she was on my case, but there's two people in the system that work for the same department that have the same first name and last name, and they both have worked on my case somehow, some way, somewhere. But I don't even know. I just had a brain fart. I was going somewhere with that. I swear I was. And it's gone now. Like, I have no, what was that? Oh boy. I was going to say something and it had meaning, but I forgot now. Like, I don't know. Oh my God, that's bad. That's bad.
Well, let's go back to rule number 1.
Okay.
I know we did rule number 3, but rule number 1 is how to get an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may think, oh, I got an attorney. They gave it to me at court. Mm-hmm. Well, a court-appointed attorney is a joke. And I'm saying that with all sincerity. They have very little experience, and they have a caseload of 30 or more clients. They can only see you at the day of the hearing, and that's only for 5 minutes, but there's not much you can do or say. They won't fight for you. They're just going to do what what CPS wants. Mm-hmm. My judge was corrupt too. And that didn't help.
It's sad to say that money goes a long way in the CPS system and in with like lawyers too, in a way. Hi Faye, welcome in.
Welcome, Faye. Hello to you. A warm hug. We're now going over the rules. We're in rule number 1. We did rule number 3. We'll do them out of order. But rule number 1 is you got to find a real attorney. I mentioned Vincent Davis as part of my show. He's a real attorney. He's also a CPS fighter. He's a dependency attorney. He has over 35 years of experience, and he's a trial attorney. I wish all people could use Mr. Davis, but he does have a retainer. But there are attorneys you can find that don't have retainers or charge very little. How you find them is that you got to phrase on the internet your question. Oh, great. Glad to hear that, Faye. Glad that you'll be on there with Mr. Davis.
Okay. Awesome.
That sounds good. So how you start off with is you use the words and you say find in, I'm going to use Georgia's example. Okay. Find in Athens, which is a small city in Georgia. It's where the University of Georgia is located.
College town.
And you want to have a second city, a big city, and so Atlanta is close by. So find in Athens and Atlanta, Georgia, a pro bono. Now, pro bono means attorney without pay. A pro bono attorney. Well, ask him, Faye, about the question that Lady Carol had told us from Indiana about how you have to check with the state to see if your case is on file.
To report it to the CPS state.
And talking it to the ombuds person or the civil rights coordinator. Because I know he had some questions himself, but that came up with that Carol girl from Indiana. Okay. That's one thing you can ask them. Mm-hmm. Now, going back to rule number 1, which I'm seeing to take it forever here, but anyway, you after the pro bono, you say a dependency lawyer. So start from the top. It says find in Athens and Atlanta, Georgia, a pro bono dependency lawyer. And you should see a list of names. Hopefully you see more than 10. If you only see 10, then you're going to call all 10. What you're trying to do is you're trying to find someone that can help you. And so the reason why you're going to call these 10 is the first reason is you're going to find if they're still in business, if it's a good working number. And you'll know that by when you reach them. The second question is you're going to ask them, are they a true pro bono attorneys for CPS cases? Then you're going to ask them, have they worked in dependency court and fought against CPS and gotten the children back. It's very important. You ask that question. They have attorneys that will do that. Also, an icing on the cake is to ask if the attorneys have ever fought civil suits against CPS. That's a real key to a good attorney. That's a real key.
Mm-hmm.
So after you call all those listed 10s, you're going to determine 5 of them that you think are the best ones for you that you're going to have a consultation with. And one of the 5s I want you to put is Vincent Davis. All you do is you call in 888-888-6582 and tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you talk to Mr. Davis, say that Bob Pace sent you. And you want to have a consulting meeting. And right now, the rate for 30 minutes is $60. The rate for 30 minutes is $60. And he'll talk to you about the strategies and how to fight CPS and get your children back. Well worth your time to do that 30 minutes. Okay, so what you want to do is that
$219.90.
You want to, when you talk to him, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. But what you want to do is you want to determine the strategies. Vincent Davis will go out of state. He works in Northern California, and all he asks is his per diem, his hotel, his car rental, and the transportation for the airfare. And he'll defend you. He has his regular fee that he will charge whether what state he is all the same. His fees all dependent on how difficult your case is and how long the case has been going on. But he'll gladly tell you how much he needs in retainer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important that you talk to these 5 attorneys and you determine which one, because you need that person to defend you. They're the only ones that know the law. I don't know the law, even though I've researched and Googled and everything on there. They're the ones that know the law. And it's very important you have the right kind. It's a dependency law attorney, dependency law. And you need to find someone that has that kind of experience. Boy, we lost Danielle. She's playing hide and seek now. Because once you get that attorney, you're going to feel a big relief over your head. I had to wait a year before I got mine to get my boys back. But I wish I had gotten them sooner. And I wish I didn't have to sell my house either. That was a hard thing to swallow. I worked at 40 years. In 2010, I had lost my job through no fault of my own. And 7 years later, I had to sell my house after I had to fight for 3 years with CPS that kidnapped my children. Faye, did you get that question? I can go ahead and try to do it to you, Faye. Okay. Faye, I'm trying to text that to you. Her Faye asked Mr. Davis about the thing Carol said from Indiana. Okay. Okay, I had to type in a comment there for Faye because Danielle left. I don't know if she got it to you, Faye, or not. Did you get that, Faye? Okay. Once you got an attorney, you'll see how it changes everything. I got my 2 boys back. I lost my daughter, but got my 2 boys back. I waited too long with my daughter. Sad apart my daughter, and I hope this never happens to any of you out there. The CPS worker, my CPS worker, had lied on the court stand, and my attorney proved that she lied. And she was so embarrassed. Wow. She was so embarrassed that she threatened me and my wife that you'll never see your child again, and that you're going to and what she did was true because our daughter divorced us as parents, divorced her brothers, divorced her grandparents, divorced her cousins, her relatives, changed her name, sealed her birth certificate, and then got adopted by foster care. She did all that 12. No 12-year-old knows all that stuff. So that was sad. That was really sad. It's a hard thing when you lose your daughter. She's 21 now. I encourage her sons to still keep in touch. But it's not a day goes on. Right now she's 21 years old, and she's going to be at my son's graduation, but not sitting with us, which is sad. It is sad. It is sad. But now I've covered rule 1 and rule 3. I can't forget rule number 2, which is the paperwork of things. It's so important you keep your paperwork. And what I mean by that is you need to keep track of everything. I didn't. And it came to haunt me because you won't remember everything. You need to get yourself a 6-inch ring, 3-ring binder, 6-inch, and stuff it full of college rule notebook paper. Buy some subject tabs and place them in amongst the notebook paper and organize it so it works for you. The most important tab is going to be your incidents, and that'll be at the very front. And what you do is you record the date and the time and the people involved in the incident. Then you want to write a description of what the incident was about, and then you want to write the outcome. If there's no outcome, skip a couple lines, fill it in later as you get the outcome. Anyway, you skip a couple lines, repeat this, and continue to do the same process with the incidents. That way you always look at and you know exactly what was said or done and so forth. Then you could put dividers in there regarding your court papers, three-hole punch them. If you need your court papers, get a hold of the courtroom clerk, the dependency courtroom. She'll give them to you. And if you're low income, she'll give it to you for no charge. So it's important that you do this paperwork. You also want to have the paperwork, another area there you could have is all the classes you're taking, all the programs you're completing, anger management, your parenting classes, those kinds of things. You want to have a collection of all that information and a tab for that. The paperwork of things, you can use a highlighter to highlight things, make them stand out. But try to follow those 3 rules. Those 3 rules will help you. Remember, rule number 1 is hire an attorney. Rule number 2 is don't forget the paperwork. Get the 3-ring 6-inch binder together. And rule number 3, so those are important rules to go by. Now, I don't have much time left. I have about 3 minutes left here, or a little less than 3 minutes. And in fact, I would like to end it now because we're already at the 11 o'clock mark. So I want to God bless you all. I want you all to have a happy day. I want to thank Faye for joining me. I want to thank that first person that came in and said hello. Tammy, you're welcome to come here again. And Danielle, who was our co-host. So good luck. Fight for your kids. God bless you all. I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock sharp. That's Pacific time.